Good afternoon, Karen.
This is Mike. How you doing?
Karen.
Uh, Miss Gall, can you hear me okay?
Hello.
Hello?
I hear. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Mike. I'm sorry. I'm off camera, and for whatever reason, I can't update the logo on my name. I think it's just permanently at ANC 1B office.
Okay, Mike. I'm so sorry. You actually sound like you're underwater, like a real deep tunnel.
This happened
I
last
I could
time.
I could barely hear you. I was like, hello.
Yeah, let me.
Look, I was having some technical issues yesterday when I signed into the meeting. Um, so, and that was because I was on my Bluetooth. I was like, okay, I can at least wear my Bluetooth headphones, but that I didn't end up wearing them the entire meeting because of I don't know. I get some type of interference. I think because I'm right on 16th Street and
Oh, gotcha.
it
I turned up my volume a little bit. That's better, worse.
yeah, but I can tell you that your audio is not coming whatever you're doing, it sounds like you're in a tunnel and it's not clear. It's not the it's a reverb tunnel echo like sound as you whenever you're talking. I don't think that that's your intent, unless that is your intent. And let me know, and we can
No,
shoot the music video
not at
later.
all. Okay. Yeah.
There's someone named Nicholas
On
Not
earth
in here.
today. Okay.
Good evening, Al.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Love
No
that.
complaints. There's a Nicholas Northingham. Hi, Nicholas.
Hello.
I haven't met you before, Nicholas.
Yes, this is my first meeting. Hello.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm assuming that.
Mhm.
Well, welcome
Um,
Welcome,
aboard.
Nicholas.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm glad that you joined me, Nicholas. This is Mike. I'm on the ANC 1B. Am I sounding funny to you as well? I know I'm coming across as funny on Karen's end.
Zavi, how are you doing? Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How about you all?
Excellent, 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 excellent. Mike is getting some his audio situation taken care of right now. So I just want to give you guys a heads up before we get started.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for the update.
hmm
Is this
No problem.
team? Is this better or worse?
We can hear you. We can hear you a little bit better. Yes,
Okay.
you sound a little closer.
Yeah, I closed the door behind me. I was wondering if it echoed as I was speaking. So,
We can hear you. It's a lot better than it before. That I can tell you that.
okay. I'm gonna not touch anything because I'm worried I'm gonna make it worse. So,
Okay.
one second. Javi else here. We'll give everyone a minute or two. one more minute here. Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here, team. Um, First and foremost, I want to introduce Nicholas. He has joined the committee. He sent in, I think, a request like maybe 2 weeks ago, Nicholas, through the AN1B, ANC1B website, and he lives pretty close. I think he lives in Francois District, SMD, pretty close to 7th and U Street in Florida, kind of that combo there at the new Langston building. So he is recently joined, and we're very pleased to have him on the committee. So welcome aboard, Nick.
Welcome, Nicholas, and welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nicholas, you've been in the neighborhood, or you've been in DC for over 10 years, is that correct?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I apologize. You've been in the neighborhood for about 10 years.
Yes, been here. Yes, going on 10 years. Yes.
Excellent. Um, so we'll go through some of the items here real quick. One thing I would like to do today is formalize the subcommittee task force, kind of the groups we talked about last time. Some of them, I know people had either emailed me or texted me offline or chatted and said that they were interested in certain things. Um, the one area that I know we'll kind of go with first here is the farmers market with Zavi, and I know Aaron had also expressed interest in joining that one as well. And if anyone else is interested in doing this, please either raise your hand or send a chat, and then that way I can add you to the list here. I know, I believe Karen, you were interested in doing the district banner, and then Al, you sent me that email afterwards. Uh, and then the other ones on here, neighborhood civic local park association task force, pretty much getting a list of all the associations in our ANC 1B, whether they be a Friends of a Park, key organizations that are nonprofits or government agency, neighborhood association, stuff like that. Kind of getting a list of all that together. I actually think we can probably use maybe Karen and kind of the admin help at the ANC 1B to help us pull that together. So for right now, I put that as TBD. Gene just joined us. And then the last one is marketing and promotion. This is, I apologize, I should probably put the last names here. Um, so for the advertising marketing, again, I think we can rely a little bit for the short term on Karen and Raisa in terms of helping us out there. We will have to get some members involved in those later dates. But I don't know if there's anything on here that people would want to join, anything that people don't want to join. And then one thing I would like to do is kind of, I don't want to create leads on these per se, but I do want to create kind of owners where maybe we can have meetings where they can help with organizing some of the details behind the scene between our meetings. But that was kind of my first thing, is that maybe what we do is we kind of break these out, knowing that the last two, we can put a little bit of a pin in it right now. And so that way, just the first three, I think we can put some folks aligned to it. Um, I don't know how that sounds to the committee, but that was just kind of one thought I had.
Well, if you're asking, Mike, I would be happy to participate on the neighborhood civic association, because I already have two within the community already. So 3D CAC, and we have the ANC 1BO4 civic association. So I'm already a member of those, and I would happily. They're both nonprofit associations, so I'll be happy to participate in that realm. And then, as you already mentioned, the Duke District banner. I know that's so temporary because it'll be over as soon as it's already piloted. Once they get everything out. I have not heard back from any of the folk who are a part of that. It it was presented, but it just was like, okay, I was waiting, waiting, and waiting, nothing. So whatever can we can do to kickstart that, so that communications can be presented to those people who are interested in participating on the committee. Myself specifically, because I've asked from the inception and still haven't heard anything. But
Yeah,
outside of that, those are the two things that I'll be interested. But I definitely, the block party part, I don't want to say that I can be a part of it per se, but I definitely have huge amounts of contributions to help, being really entrenched in the community. So if there's any need to help on any of this stuff, but I don't want to overstretch myself. But I definitely want to highly make sure that I'm involved with the civic association and the banner thing. Okay.
excellent. And that's kind of those are two great areas that I think Karen, you can really help us out on. I did speak with a few of the commissioners about the Duke District banner. One thing I would like to do is I know there's a few different committees at the ANC 1B, and I think to some degree 1E is also involved a little bit. Is I like to get something on the calendar to get that going again. And I talked to Commissioner Fay, and he's very excited about it too. It's just a lot of things have come up, which I think now is a good time for us to put that at the front burner again, so that it gets going again. So why don't I send an email to folks later this week to get that going, and it might actually be a joint committee between community engagement, economic development, and kind of the ANC 1B participants. But let me get an email going this week on that one.
I do have a question. How does that work with the economic development committee? It is more community engagement. I don't get that correlation.
So part of it originally went into the economic development committee, and honestly, Karen and I don't know the whole backstory, so I'm just spitballing a little bit here. I think it started off there because it was part of a kind of getting some energy behind U Street and getting uh, kind of some thoughts in terms of doing either the neighborhood, it's called the neighborhood association, with a bid for U Street, and I think it got tagged onto that. Let me talk to the commissioners and see how we want to move forward on that.
There's with the public, the space, the transportation and public space committee. There was a effort where there's some banners being placed up around the neighborhood that was working with the public space committee and transportation committee. So this is and as you already know, in my service, I serve on these committees, so I don't see where it correlates with economic development. I do see how public space, it could sort of tie into that committee, but I really don't see how it would tie in with economic development. But that's just again my insights that I wanted to share.
Yeah, let me talk to the commissioners offline. I'll talk to Miguel offline and just see, and obviously Commissioner Fay is also heavily involved on that. So I don't want to speak why it's in one department and not in another because I'm pretty new to the game. But let me do a little bit of emails and communication offline to see what makes sense. One second, I'm just going to write a note for myself. The other one, and Nicholas, I know you had just got a preview of the different departments on here. I think I gave you the idea that the Block Party, the Farmers Market, and the Duke District banner are going to be kind of front and center. But obviously, the other ones are equally important, but they may not be as time sensitive. is there anything that Nicholas that you'd be interested in joining?
Yeah, definitely the block party and the Duke District.
Right. Okay, excellent. Um, Dean, I know you're doing a million things right now, and you actually have to leave us here in a couple minutes because I know you have a award ceremony to go to. Is there anything that you'd be interested in participating a little bit more with?
I'm going to have to pass for right now. I really am inundated, but I could probably jump on something in a month or two.
Okay, excellent.
So,
And then, Al, I know you had mentioned you had emailed me offline or after the meeting, I should say, and said about the Duke District banner. Is there anything else on there that you'd be interested in also participating in, or um, before or after the banner celebration?
Yeah, I would be happy to help with the farmers market or even the neighborhood civic local park association, wherever is most needed. I'm happy to jump in and support.
Excellent. And then, last but not least, Zavi, just to give everyone a heads up, we got a little bit of discouraging email back from our fresh farm folks today. Um, I know you've been working really hard in terms of getting that survey out to them. Could you just give the committee a quick update on what they responded, and maybe we can kind of brainstorm, you know, there's still possibilities on getting a farmers market going at 14th and U.
Yeah, sure. So I did reach out to Fresh Farm with the questions that the committee raised the last time that we met. And basically their response was that they are not doing any new farmers markets in the current times, just sort of based on, I guess, their outlook and how things are looking. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to move forward with them. But another idea that I did have was to reach out to the Bloomingdale Farmers Market, and see if they could potentially assist us in either partnering or helping us along the way to sort of get whatever we need to get done to make the farmers market a reality. But certainly open to any other ideas. As far as I know, the Bloomingdale Farmers Market is not affiliated with Fresh Farm. Or if anyone knows of any other sort of independent farmers markets that are not Fresh Farm, that's something we could potentially look into to start getting going. I know the city does publish a lot of information related to starting a farmers market, but if we were to take that on sort of ourselves, that would be a pretty big commitment, it seems. So yeah, we can. I can reach out to Fresh Farm, or sorry, reach out to the Bloomingdale folks. I did find a place to contact them online. And yeah, any other ideas that folks have of how we might be able to kickstart this would be great. And please share them with me.
May I share with a couple of things with you now, Zavi, if you
Yes,
have a
please.
moment? Okay, the DPR, the Department of, yeah, DPR, they actually do Parks and Rec. They actually do a farmers market type thing where there's a because a lot of there's a lot of different areas that grow and harvest their actual food, and they do giveaways. Okay, after they do the growing and harvesting, and
Mhm.
so certain locations actually will be able to give a lot of free food. There's no charge to any of the consumers. They come, the things are bagged and everything. So I don't know if they're location specific and if they could transport stuff to the 14th in U Street area, but I would check with them to see if there's any farmers who would be willing to bring their wares to 14th and U. And I do believe that I gave you a couple of suggestions the last time. There's um the spice sweet. they do a farmers market every other weekend um, for black farmers. Excuse me, guys.
No worries.
Mhm.
It's Spice Week.
Spice Wheat. They do it. It's in Northeast though.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. But it's definitely worth looking into.
It's Spice Sweet, not wheat.
Oh, gotcha. Like this, sweet.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. So yeah, I could definitely reach out and see if they might be interested in partnering and bringing something to 14th and U. Yeah, thank you for those suggestions. Did you have others, Karen?
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I was having. I repeat yourself, please, Zadi.
Sorry, I got your two suggestions for DPR and Spice Suite. Were there others? I know
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, well, there's a whole there's a black farmers market collaborative, black farmers. You might have to just do a little Google search here in DC because I mean there's a whole group of them, and I get emails frequently, but I have to cull through my emails. But I'm telling you, there's a huge collective. I know they have a lot of Instagram offerings, and they grow a lot of their vegetables and stuff. And I'm sure they'll be very interested in selling. And then the I know they do the farmers market still in Mount Pleasant, and I'm sure there's probably some people that is part of that collective that might want to participate on U Street again because they used to participate on U Street. So I would really put some feelers out there if I was you, because it's a really wonderful setting, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of farmers who may be interested if they still have the services that they're offering. And but with USDA cutting off fresh farms or other places like that, that may be the challenge that you're having with fresh farms. So that's the agricultural issue, I'm sure. But I'll I'll um I'll I'll look through my emails and try to send you some things. But I believe that there was someone else had sent me another farmers market that does a nice little offering here in DC. And I'll just try to pull up my information that I can for you. Okay, Zavi?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and I think these are great resources. I think the main thing that we would be looking for as a committee is somebody to bring it and manage it for us, because I don't, or unless we have somebody that would be sort of willing to manage sort of the day-to-day of it.
Oh, I'm look, trust me. All you have to do is I can assure you there's some phenomenal people that would be really willing to do it, but they have to have the manager's license, which is a license that you apply for through the DC business and licensing so that they can manage markets as well as um so it's part of the licensing process. I mean, it's a and I'm sure that you can probably look on their site to see who's the persons who are have that particular license, or call them for the DC licensing division to find out who actually holds those licenses. Normally, you can pull it up on their site, but I would suggest that you do that type of research too. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll look into it. Yeah, because I did see on the sort of city website that there were all of these steps that need to be done, and it's a essentially a bureaucratic process that you would need to do in order to get the farmers market up and running. So I'd
Oh
be
yeah.
hoping that we'd be able to find a partner that would be able to manage that and have some experience in that,
Mm.
to be successful in this endeavor. But okay.
Yeah, because the last person didn't have the integrity that we needed, and so there was a number of issues that a lot of the vendors was running into, and so I certainly understand what you're talking about. They definitely need to have a good track record and some good references attached to that. But I'll I can give you people who may be interested in vending, but as you mentioned, the management is extremely important.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for the info. I will definitely look into all of this and keep you guys updated in the next email, or sorry, in the next meeting.
Zavi, one thing I was thinking after I read the email back from Katie over at Fresh Farm, it might be worth getting like scheduling a call with her. Maybe you, me, and can have a call with her. Maybe there's an opportunity for the ANC to do some sort of partnership with them. I'm not quite sure if it's just a funds related issue, but if there's a way that we can maybe support some of the operational or at least the management costs, and like we work in partnership to kind of get it going. It sounds like they'd be. It sounds like they were. It's not a lack of interest; it's a lack of funding on their end. I have no idea how much it costs to get a farmers market up and running. But it might be worth having a conversation with Katie over at FFM to just see, hey, is there a possibility of getting a partnership where the ANC or some sort of donation we raise money to support a farmers market for 2026. She may come back and it's like $40,000, to do it, which is way out of anyone's budget. But she may come back and say it's like a few $100 per week to do it. And I have no idea. So just one thought I had after reading your email again.
Yeah, and I guess the only question I would have about that is like, are there any restrictions for what we can use the ANC funds for? I think Miguel had said before, like food is not something that we can pay for out of the ANC funds. So yeah, I would just want to make sure that we know what we can and can't spend money on if we were to engage with Fresh Farm in any sort of discussions like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was trying to be very helpful, giving us a lot of information. But it might be worth just getting her on the phone to say like, hey, to pick her brain a little bit more, and say like, if we were to get this going, for this year, what are some thoughts or what are some ideas? She may know of other farmers markets out there too that might be willing to, that might have the funds and be willing to do the 14th and new one too. I imagine it's a pretty tight knit group of community.
Okay, yeah, can you send me some times that you're available and
Sure.
set up some, I can reach out to her and see if she's willing and available during those times.
And I gave you the correct spelling of Spice Sweet in the chat too, Mike.
I'm sorry. I'll correct it here in a second, Karen. Let's see if I can get to chat again. I'm gonna have to get out of this. Um, uh, so uh, there we go. Okay. So the next item on here. Oh, thank you. Um, the next item on here that I'd like to talk about, and I know it's in very short order, but doing something either fun or celebratory, um, and we would have to do some reach out on our behalf to the African American Civil War Museum, but they have their grand reopening coming up in a few weeks' time. At a bare minimum, we should be publicizing this through various avenues of the ANC 1B and throughout ANC 1 and DC as a whole. But probably work to see what we can do to help support, or if there's something fun that we can do in like 2, 3 weeks' time, that would be kind of an add-on celebration or something we can do. And I don't know what that might be, but I was just throwing it out there. And if anyone had any ideas, and then also if anyone knows the executive director or president over at the African American Civil War Museum, to see if maybe we can reach out and see what opportunities or what thoughts they had too. But I just kind of want to kind of share that.
Yeah, his name is Frank Smith, and he actually used to be our former council member way back in the day.
Okay.
And I know him and his wife, and obviously all of them. But they, I guess I think it's in November they're having like a opening. I'm not sure. I had it on my calendar. I But in any case, what you want to see what the ANC can do to contribute towards the opening or the because they did a ribbon cutting ceremony not too long ago, but I you're talking about whatever they're going to do for the interior, or do you want to like? But can we help them host like a we can help them with their advertising or something like that? Because I know we can't pay for food to help them with like a little mini reception or something like that. But what is the parameters on as far as what you're looking for our input on?
Well, I think just first and foremost, just getting the word out so that people are aware that it has reopened. I think the grand reopening date is November 11th. So maybe what we start with like help with advertising and marketing, and then let's just think about different ways we can do ways that we can outreach to make sure that they get the best exposure possible. So there's the ANC one newsletter. Um, there's probably the individual listservs out there. Just see what we can. I don't know if they have a press release that we can kind of share among the community to make sure they get the word out. But also, I'm not Karen. I'm not sure if they're doing like some sort of big event like I don't know, like don't want to call it a gala, but like some sort of reception or something with the grand reopening. But if there's anything that the ANC can do to support or sponsor, or obviously I think food is off the limits, but you know, was just at a local church this past weekend, and they had a jazz quartet that played that was amazing. And I don't know if like they're doing anything that's like music and reception related, or if they're keeping it a little bit more simple and just having the grand reopening and doing a bigger event like around the holidays or maybe in the beginning of the new year. So I'm not quite sure what the
Yeah,
grand reopening
I have it
entails.
on November the 10th at 11 a.m. I have it on my calendar at 11 a.m. That's probably padded a little bit for me to be there early.
Okay,
I have it, I have it at 11 a.m. on my calendar. It may be a little later, but
okay,
I have it from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Um, that's on November the 10th. So, but that's it doesn't I don't have it listed as a reception. It says, "Come and celebrate the grand reopening of the African American Civil War Memorial Museum as we honor the United States colored troops and embrace the new chapter. Don't miss this special event." And it gives the address. The phone number is 202 667 2667.
okay.
Um, in
Do you
case you,
know if maybe that's an do you know if that might be an invite only thing, or do you know
it's
if it's
just
open to the public?
I have 1925 Vermont Avenue. I don't know. I don't know. I look, when you give me a public ribbon cutting event, I'm assuming it's for the public,
Okay.
and I just gave you a telephone number that was associated with it. Um, I think that might just be how you get in touch with everybody. I mean, it's at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest, and again, it's their actual public ribbon cutting event.
Okay. 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 So okay. Public. And
Do you want the telephone number again so you can
give me one
contact them?
second. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Karen, what
I
was that?
just
202.
sorry to interrupt. I just looked at the
202
website and it's on
667
there. The ribbon cuttings announced on the website.
2667. Okay, that's 202 667 2667.
Okay. Great. Okay. Al, was that you that just said that chimed in?
I don't know who
Okay.
spoke. I don't know who was speaking.
It was Al. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't mean to
Well,
interrupt. I was
Yeah,
just
no,
saying,
no.
I looked it up on the website, and it is on their website under events. And as Karen said, it's November 10th, and it says it's at the address that you mentioned, Karen, and it's at 10, or sorry, 11 a.m. And then there is a event on the website, and I can send you guys a link on Monday, November 10th from 4 to 6:30. It's a happy hour, and it said the description is join us for Descendants happy hour. Great drinks, good vibes, and even better company. Tickets are free, but donations are welcome.
Okay. Let me get with Miguel and Karen and Raisa to see how we get the word out. I'm imagining that they have a press release, or we can even link to the website. But it'd be great to kind of put that out there, and then that way people know it's open. Because I know they've been going under pretty extensive renovation in the last few years. So I think will be really excited once the grand opening happens. And even if people can't make the reception of the ribbon cutting, now they know that the indoor museum is open again.
See, I'm not sure if they have the inside ready yet. So that's what I'm concerned about. I mean, I know that they had a sculpture dedication ceremony not too long ago, and but I certainly I agree with you, Mike, that there needs to be that they need to know that we're interested in engaging. So I think if you call the number, um, I think that you should be able to get some feedback, and then also as you have the link, you know, because I'm sure that they would love some type of sponsorship. But the only thing, as Zabi was mentioning, and we know all these parameters around food and um, tickets to food type events, exactly to what extent will the ANC be able to participate?
Correct, correct. No, that's yeah, those are all good questions. Writing some notes here.
But Mr. Smith did come before the ANC. At one particular point, he came to the ANC to speak to the commission meeting, in person meeting. I forgot what he wanted to talk about. Um, I really don't recall what he was asking. So, but I guess it's always good to ask to see what it is that if there's still a need for anything from the community. I'm sure there is, you know. And we probably could help them do something special, like create a banner, a celebratory banner or something nice. You know what I mean? And that way the imprint of the ANC can be added to that.
Exactly. Just writing this down here. Um, so with the Duke District banners, I know Karen, one thing you had on your list last time, to kind of jump. I will reach out, take the phone call, reach out to Mr. Smith, see what how we can support. But before doing that, I'll reach out to Miguel and just see what limitations or what he might be already thinking about doing something for the grand reopening, but something that would be nice in terms of a sponsorship or a banner donation or something like that, and kind of go forward with that. Um, on the Duke District banners, the one thing a couple of things that Karen had mentioned before is just seeing where the banners were going across the U Street, kind of get that map out there so that I will follow up with Miguel as well. Also, we talked about they should change from time to time seasonal or special events. I'll make that special events. Um, and then make sure they also don't. I'm not exactly sure where the African American Civil War Museum banners are going to be along that stretch, but one concern was just making sure that nothing conflicts. Um, I think I think there's more questions than answers right now in terms of the Duke District banner celebration. I'm going to go ahead and
There
work
was
with.
one question that I still had, Mike, that was never answered. I wanted to see the mock-up of these banners.
Uh,
Um, and we haven't seen any of the renderings. And I'm curious as to what it looks like. Um, and we, as the commission did go through the process, like I said, under the Transportation and Public Space Committee, um, work working with the African American excuse me, the Thurgood Marshall Center African American Museum for the other street banners that are being placed throughout the area, which is basically a routing um, banners to route the various historical sites throughout the area.
okay.
So that's gone through the committee, and in the and the supporting letter was sent from the commission in support of that particular effort already.
Okay.
And they did, I do believe they had the mock-up of those, but I still I know that this particular banner, district banner thing was brought up, but again, I haven't seen anything to bring that into fruition. So that was my take on understanding that.
Question. When we're saying banners, are we talking about the light post banners or what kind of
Light
banner?
posts, yes, light post banners. They're actual light posts, the same ones that you'll see downtown in various areas that are being maintained by the various bids. This was a suggestion that was made through the ANC 1E Commission to do this in the area, and it's supposed to be a collaborative project. However, I've heard it mentioned, but I haven't seen anything drawn up or any additional planning behind it personally. But I guess wherever those butterflies landed, I'm sure we'll find out once Mike does his deep dive on it.
Do we know which bid is handling the light post? And the reason I'm
No,
aware of this because
there's no bid involved with this, Nicholas, none whatsoever, because there is not a bid in the area that would be able to, in the 1B area that would cover it. There's no bid involved. This is commission oriented. Is that clear?
no, I got it. My agency puts up the light post banner, so I'm aware that the who wouldn't they usually get involved with them. So yeah.
Right. So, but have you heard of anything?
No, that's why I'm asking because usually there's a process with us seeing them or either knowing or there's a application for these. So I haven't seen anything.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And that's what I've been saying. I'm like, okay, we've heard about it, but we haven't seen any of the processing. I've actually said, okay, well, I'm interested in getting involved, but we need to see where is it starting, who has anything pen to paper, who has anything in writing. No, I haven't seen any of that. All I heard was it mentioned in a meeting, several meetings, but nothing, nothing in print and nothing processed that I'm aware of.
Yeah. And I don't want to. Uh, I think I think it's come up a few times here that it probably makes sense to get do another meeting after this meeting for just the banners. I think the people who've been working on it to see how we can help and support. I know the ANC's got their plate full right now, but I know that there's a big drive to do this, and I know there's a lot of questions out there. So why don't we do a follow-up meeting? I'll get with Miguel, and I know some of the other commissioners who are involved, and see what makes sense in terms of doing a separate banner meeting because I know there was a lot of momentum on that, and then a lot of things kind of got thrown into the loop in terms of projects. So I think right now would probably be a good time to get that re-energized and get some of these questions and some of these thoughts on there. And then obviously there's a lot more to do, and see how we can get that how we can help out on that. And but I know that that all these are great questions in terms of been writing down a lot of this stuff that has gone back and forth here. I'm going to follow up with Miguel and probably a few of the commissioners afterwards. Um, Next one, Malcolm X Park, Meridian Hill. I know we talked about doing some educational opportunities, some general support, spring 2026. Sometime, oh, yeah, Aaron just sent me an email on another meeting, and had trouble getting this one, so I'll follow up with her separately. I know with the drum circle, we had talked about some educational opportunities, some promotion, general support. Um, for this one, I know it goes somewhat a little bit year round, but I put spring 2026 on this, where we want to, we have a lot on our plate if we really want to make a big dent in the the Geek District banners, and then also the farmers market, which seems like it's going to be a little bit of a heavier lift than we thought. Um, Karen, maybe at next meeting, our November meeting, can we put this one a little bit more front and center to see how we can get going so that come springtime of 2026, we have kind of our ducks in a row to see how we can do something up at Malcolm X?
Mike, if you were speaking to me, I'm having difficulty hearing you, so please, I don't know how we can
I don't know what's
alleviate
happening
this.
with my.
I'm being
Um,
assumptive that
for
you
the
said,
for the Duke, I'm sorry.
and I'm assuming, and you can reiterate saying yay or nay. Did you ask about the drum circle? You said you want to do something in 2026, and you want to be intentional about a particular program. Um, and I recall that the last meeting we were talking about making it an educational historical program about the drum circle and getting the schools engaged with participating in it. And you want to do an event specific, or do you want to do a collaborating educational program uh, that is with the drum circle and then the school system? What's the goal? Because I'm reading what you're saying on screen. Um, so I mean, I know that was the suggestion. So you want to do this specifically in um the spring of 2026. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So I would like to do something at the springtime 2026. Um, it could go either way, Karen.
Say that again,
Obviously,
please, sir.
my microphone not working.
K-
Give me
t-
1 second.
Type it on the screen, and I can see what you're saying. I mean, if you type it, or if you
Um,
want to put it in the chat or something. I'm not hearing you, and
one
it just
moment.
may be me.
Is this better or worse?
Oh, that's a lot better. Whatever you're saying
Okay.
is better. A
Okay.
lot better.
For 2020, I apologize, everyone. For 2026, springtime, and it could go either way, Karen. I don't know um, if we want to do something at the park itself and invite school participants that way, or if we wanted to do something at the schools. Um, my thought is for our first go at it, because it's going to be a lot involved logistically. Maybe what we do is we do something up at the park, and maybe on like Saturdays or some specific day or Sundays when they're actually doing the performance. Maybe what we do is we do like kind of a speaker, or one of the people who is active in the drum circles can give like a history of it. So we kind of keep it easier from an operation standpoint. Once we do kind of our spring educational outreach, then we can kind of figure out if we want to go to different schools. I just where I've never actually held something at a school before, so I have no idea what's involved.
Well, what the engagement goal that I was presenting was more of a storytelling event in which you can educate not only about the drum circle, the history of the drum circle, of that particular drum circle and drum circles all together, and getting people involved with the whole drumming process, and allowing them to know that this is a consistent opportunity. But the educational aspect that I think that ANC 1B could do, they can do print materials as well as engage with a particular artist that can do the whole full presentation. Um, but it would be nice to use one of the artists that is consistently involved with the drum circle. So I think that that would be one of the main reach outs, and then also bring in the history of the park as well. So not only are you talking about the drum circle, the history of the park, and what it has meant for the area, I was just thinking, and not only can you do educational print information that can be distributed to the schools to bring the schools there for a particular, project, which is generally on Saturdays or Sundays, but particularly Saturday mornings. Um, bring the parents and neighborhoods in. I don't know how you would get the word out. You have the website, then you also would need to probably do like little print booklets to give to kids, or QR codes that they can use on their phones to learn more information. However way you want to do it. So that they can, like, you can set up various like little engagement stations where they have like little mini drums where they can learn how to drum on the drums. It can be really really nice and engaging. That was my suggestion. However, um I don't know what the limitations of the ANC will be in that respect. that was that's what I meant when I was talking about engagement.
No, I think all that is fantastic. From a first go at it, my inclination is to do something that is website with a QR code. So it just keeps a little bit simpler with the paper and the publication of that. I think the big thing is getting someone who has been a um, part of that, part of the drum circle, part of the community for a while, getting them involved, and then seeing how we can do, like, how we want to do an educational outreach. And again, I think what we do is we invite, like, the schools involved, the parents involved. We can mark it on here, but I love the idea of doing a Saturday or Sunday at the park where they do like it could be interactive. They could do a performance, they could do education, they could give the kids a time to, practice on the drums or teach them how to do some of the basic skills on the drums. So it's a little bit more hands on. And then that way, I think it would get more of the younger population a little bit more drawn in. But there's a lot of ways that, this could go. And I think maybe the first step is to reach out to some of the key players in that community and get their thoughts on it.
I agree. I wanted to, like you said, make it an engagement process where the entire family can be involved. All ages can come in and be involved and practice with drums. The little mini drums doesn't really cost that much because it's you're just doing basic percussion activities. And I think that everyone can have a fantastic time. And like you said, if it's done at the park, and it doesn't have to be a one-off. I think that if you probably do it quarterly, that way we can let the artists know that we're interested in supporting them and being involved. I think that's really really important.
Uh, I love that. I think that first go at it, we're gonna learn a lot of lessons. Like, we'll get 80% of it right, and then the next time we'll get, like, with anything that you do, you get a little bit better at it each time. But I like the idea of not making it a one and done, but making it more of a routine. And then that way, um, uh, people who can't make it the first time can make it the second time, or as kids age and, like, as new families coming in and out of the area, I think that'd be a great experience for everyone. Um, let's see here. Um, I know Gene was interested in the restaurant passport. Um, I still need to follow up with district bridges. So we talked a little bit about this offline ANC, it was Miguel and myself, about Columbia Heights did a program maybe a month ago. I think it was in September. They did a similar passport. It wasn't official where they had an actual booklet, but what they did was during the month of September, I think it was on Wednesdays and or Tuesdays and Wednesdays, everything was like 10% off, or the participating restaurants out there did like some sort of discount or happy hour special. So it kind of made it like an event where people could go from place to place. We need to follow up with the Columbia Heights community that did that and just see how that went. Were there lessons learned on that? Did it come off well? Was it, not as big of a success as what they thought it was going to be? I know there's a big thought of having the actual passport where people could stamp in there. I know that's a huge undertaking, but at the same point, I think it might be fun to do. And then that way it's a little bit more interactive for people. They can also like submit their passport at the end for prizes, which I know was a great idea. We just want to make sure it is during. When I talked to Gene a little bit, like a week or so ago, the one idea was that you don't want to compete with other events that are going on, like Restaurant Week or weekends that are going to be pretty busy regardless, like Valentine's Day or Cherry Blossom and events like that. So again, not to table it or anything like that, but I think trying to figure out, talking to Columbia Heights, seeing what they did, and then also the success that they had, whether it was positive, negative, or mixed, and then also kind of seeing where on the calendar would make the most sense, and kind of getting working with the business on New Street to get like a sense or an idea. Last week in February is like a very slow week for them, so this would be a great time for them to do it. And I'm just picking a random week, so please don't get that. I'm just making up a date. But those were kind of the next things on that. Does anyone want? I mean, I know we're trying to tackle on quite a bit here. Does anyone want to help me with the passport program?
Leah, Aaron, and I had worked on that extensively.
Um,
We put a lot of thought into how that was going to be done. And
and,
it was the goal was to how we were going to do like a little a scavenger hunt type situation where they would go around to the various bars and restaurants and business establishments, because we have quite a few businesses. It is not all bars and restaurants in the area, to try to get more engagement from the entire business community, um, to because business is in business to sell something, and to use it as a opportunity to either do like stickers. They place the stickers on your passport, or you do a QR code scan. Each one of them would have their own particular QR code, and ANC 1B would actually have they advertise their the commission through the sheet or whatever type of engagement through an app or whatever. But it's basically going to the various businesses, possibly getting a certain percentage off of your order, just for participating in this particular program. I think that it wouldn't be competitive because it's in the ANC 1B commission. I think that we have to make sure that we're showing the businesses that we're supporting them, and highlighting the various businesses on a business listing in the newsletter was another way in which ANC 1B would have an opportunity to do more business engagement. And then also during the holidays, finding ways that we can contribute to making sure that there's a listing that you can go to the day spa to get such and such for the holidays. You can go and get hot chocolate at a particular location, or various. You can buy cards or do different things to go around the community during the holidays. Like Lee's Florist has their beautiful arrangements that you can go to. The various locations have specials that we can make sure that we notate that from the various ANC 1B businesses. So that was the suggestion and the reason why we thought that that was important. But then there was another secondary item in regards to having the neighbors learn how to get to know each other. I think I did a really extensive um, presentation about how we can engage with each other. I see you wrote Porch Fest, but it's sort of like a neighbor crawl where we actually get to meet our neighbors. It's a neighborhood meetup, as as it says, house to house. It's different than a block party, but you actually have a beautiful opportunity where all the neighbors are getting engaged together, doing various things, thematic things together. So it's all how we're going to get together to get to know each other, as opposed to walking straight from the metro and going to the gym and not knowing who our neighbors are. But that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't know what a better name for porch to porch was, Karen. So one of the things is, calling it something like, a neighbor fest or something like that, or I don't know what the right name is. But I just put porch to porch because you told the story last time about your girlfriend up in, I think it was Baltimore, and you thought it was and I love the idea, and I've heard more and more about these after our conversation, after the meeting, and so I didn't know what to call it. So open to any ideas, but Porch Fest House to House. Maybe it's a different brand name on there, but kind of a very
Porch Fest.
low.
He has Nucci has Porch Fest, and he's even doing something at the Kennedy Center. So trust me, we are not grabbing his name. It was not dealing with Porch Fest. This was a neighborhood. It was neighbor to neighbor, neighbor to neighbor. I came up with neighbor to neighbor, but we called it we just was it's just a neighbor to neighbor meetup, and but it's a the neighbor to neighbor neighbor two, the actual word two neighbor, the number two
Oh,
neighbor,
gotcha.
um and it's basically it's a meetup, and what we do is what I've explained before, and we do the various themes, and we have little theme parties where everyone on the block, we pick a theme and everybody participates, and each one of their homes has a particular theme, and we do hors d'oeuvres, different alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, but preferably not non-alcoholic because it could be family oriented. They have some people have like little pet treats for pets. Everybody, they do at least no more than 40 servings um, per home, so that the entire block can get a chance to visit each other. And even if it's multifamily housing, you still have everybody participates. No one is, but the way the ANC can participate is maybe contributing towards tables and advertising, tablecloths, cups, stuff like that, so that it's not the prohibited items that an ANC couldn't participate in. But it's really, really engaging and fun for neighbors.
Excellent. And then kind of like we supply kind of the, I don't know what you call it, the back end items that, that way, because tables can be reused, and, you buy enough plates and napkins and stuff like that. Those are easy for us to distribute and stuff like that. So, um, I think those are all great. And then also like giving the kind of putting it out there, like the how to hold something like this, would be great.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's correct, and you're right. A nice little how to guide, so it can be a consistent thing. And I'm telling you, it doesn't always. And this sometimes some people, you don't have to invite people directly into your home. It's just you're doing it from your porch, you're doing it from your front stoop, or wherever, so that everyone can come and visit with each other, and we talk, and engage with each other. And some people, I'm telling you, the ones that I did and that I participated, they were just really all out. People were just, and it's about who you know in your block that you end up doing it a little bit more elaborate. Some people always likes to one up each other because that's just what we do. but but it's fun. It's really really fun.
I love it, and I think those are easy. I don't want to call them easy opportunities because I mean they're wrong. I mean in the whole grand scheme of things, they're easy opportunities, and these are the people you're most likely going to run into day to day, just being neighbors. And a lot of people don't know their neighbors, especially they just moved in or they're working from home. So I think this is a great opportunity to get people out and about and know the people on their block and around the street and stuff like that.
And you can
I
do it
love.
inside of apartment buildings too. See, here's the thing. Even if you live inside of an apartment building, it doesn't limit you because the neighbors inside the apartment buildings get a chance to do it and have fun. It's we make sure that everyone knows how to do it inside of multi um family units as well as single family units. And if you're like on a cul-de-sac or but you don't really have to block off the street to do it. We're walking from house to house and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, I love that idea. Um, the big things that I think we need to just kind of work on a little bit. I know there's a lot that is out there. The one thing I think that we need to get going on is I'll reach out to Miguel and others about the deep district banners. Kind of get that going again because I know that's a big item for the ANC. And that's going to be that's going to be multifaceted. There's a lot of moving parts on that. It's not you have to get the design element, you have to get the placement element, you have to get obviously as Nicholas was mentioning the DDOT approval, and then the celebration afterwards is something that is going to be coordinated in conjunction with that, and then so there's a lot of pieces on that that are going to take a little bit of time to flesh out. So I think that's going to be a little bit high on the list. The other one, Zavi, just because operationally, and then we got a little bit of a negative news from Fresh Farm. I think probably getting the farmers market kind of front and center is going to be another one that we need to spend a little bit more time on. And then over the winter, there's let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. We also have the African American Civil War Museum grand reopening, which is a 1 day, actually a 2 day event because they're doing some stuff on November 11th too. But once we get through that, see how we can work with Mr. Smith and his team, um, then there might be an opportunity to partner up down the road. Once and Karen had mentioned that the inside may not be fully reopened, but once it feels like a good opportunity, maybe we do something a little bit more like a an ANC day or something like that, where or some sort of promotion where we get a little bit more involvement. And I know they have a beautiful, or I haven't been in there yet, but they have a beautiful like conference area, and I think also a theater area, which would be maybe great to host an event or something in there down the road. But again, there's a lot of questions that we have to check with Miguel and Karen over at the ANC about what we can and cannot do in terms of spending funds on. So I have that on my list. And then uh, I'll send an email out this week about the passport. Karen, you said you, Leah, and Aaron all worked on that one.
I'm assuming you said yeah. Leah, Aaron, and myself, we had worked on that together. We did a lot of the brainstorming together
Okay.
on that. Um, I and it really had some really good ideas. However, the next steps would be what we do in regards to getting the list of the businesses, all of the businesses in ANC 1B, not so that they can participate in it. We want to do the outreach to them to see if they're one interested in participating, where they can get some type of you know engagement, some type of advertisement that will be done once we have the listing, I guess it'll be done through the ANC's website. So this is the list of businesses in our area. This is what they offer, and if they want to offer like a 1 to 10% discount on something just to drive business to their location, um, that would be given to the passport winners or whatever, or if they have any coupons or whatever that they offer in general. This would be an ideal opportunity for them to have their name listed in the directory that the ANC should be able to publicize during that time period as of all the consumers going to those various areas to get their passport stamped or the QR code scanned or whatever kind of way we're going to eventually end up doing. But the goal was to try to find out how will ANC 1B be sort of amplified in that process. How could we, what kind of marketing opportunity would this be to, highlight ANC 1B in itself? So that, I think that's where we was sort of stopped at, and then two, we wanted to make sure that that it was not going to be something that would be too costly, but everyone will get a chance to engage with it. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like all that's um, great. No, the next thing is probably getting working in some capacity, getting a list of the businesses that we know of right now in our area, ANC 1B. Start putting that together, and then I like your idea of like asking them, would they be willing to participate, and then kind of what they do, any offering. I love the idea of the scavenger hunt because it's open to all. It's not open up just to like bars and restaurants. It makes it a little bit more accessible for all businesses in the area. Um, let me I'm gonna put this down, and I'll probably follow up with the three of you. I know I will. And maybe we'll do an offline meeting on that just to get some ideas fleshed out on that and next steps on that. Um, Trying to think of anything else. I mean, the Duke District banner celebration is going to be a big lift. Farmers Market is going to be a huge lift. And then also getting the passport program, kind of off the ground. The one that we can probably do a little bit in the behind scenes of just getting with the right key players, but we may not be able to get to too much until November, December is the drum circle. And so what would be nice is if sometime between now and the holidays, if we could maybe meet up with some of the key players and just get their thoughts on what we want to do at the beginning of the year so that once we hit the new year, we have a little bit more of a game plan on that. Is there anything else? I know we have a lot. There's so many great ideas. My one overarching concern is that we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. And so I'm just trying to be a little bit cognizant that I know most folks, are going to be working quite a bit with other projects or on work projects. And so I know that this is a
Mike,
100% volunteer item.
Mike, my question would be just sort of getting a timeline of what we want to do first, so that we
Okay.
can all engage on it first and give ourselves a timeline to say, okay, we want to all at least contribute towards this idea first, because each one of these ideas can be stretched out no matter what. Okay, with exception to the upcoming African American Civil War Museum, which we know for sure definite date is November the 10th and 11th. Um, However, outside of that, um, we don't, if we don't have anything concretely set up, we can expand things so that it doesn't become overwhelming. But I think that it would be great to have some targeted dates for certain things. Some things we know will be seasonal. I wouldn't imagine that we will have families out in the park in December unless we're warm like it is now. Um, you know, but we could plan, as you mentioned, something in the springtime. but I think that if we have that task list that and give ourselves some nice firm dates that we can all work towards, and maybe and break it down so we can each have an activity that we can all do, that would be helpful.
Is there a target date for the Duke opening or celebration?
Are you talking about the banners, or are you referring to the African American Civil War Museum?
No, I'm talking about the actual Duke Street kind of, I guess, celebration or opening or
Okay.
reading portion.
Okay, that was for the okay, there's two things. I'm assuming that I'm assuming you're talking about the Duke District banners.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay. So the Duke District banners, they had that's I think that's through the Thurgood Marshall Center, I believe, but I could be wrong because that was processed through the ANC a while ago. I want to give it to go back 2 months. It may be in the records. We because it was processed through the Transportation and Public Space Committee. Um, I don't know when they're going to actually post their it's and the banners that they're doing is just like a walking tour type banner, not the flappy banners that that you see out on the street that I'm under. It's just like a walking tour type thing where you scan the QR code. I don't know when the drop date of when they're going to actually post that signage out on the street, but they do have everything approved from the ANC level. Does that help, Nicholas?
Yeah, kind of, because well, I thought it was like a celebration of the renaming of the Duke Street from U Street to Duke Street, but I didn't know if that was like during the spring or if that was something else.
Am I missing something? Mike. I'm just I thought that was just the signpost type banners that they were doing.
Yeah, they're doing the signpost banners. There was a feeling that when they launched that, or kind of a ribbon cutting, or I guess in this case, a banner unveiling, or banners unveiling, they would do something fun that weekend or that day, and that's where the celebration comes into play. Nicholas, the one thing that I think we're running into a little bit is that there's on the banners themselves, there's some questions of how that's coming along, what we need to do to get that going. And I know a lot of the committee members on the ANC have been, or other commissioners have been working hard on various projects, and that one being one of them. It's just getting a sense of like how we want to help out if we can help out in terms of getting that going. But I think it's the celebration would be with the launching of the banners. Um, there's no real date set for when the launching of the banners is going to happen. So once we get things nailed down a little bit, the celebration would occur around that time. And so that come the springtime when the weather's nicer, someone takes a sheet off a lamppost, making this up in my head how it actually happens, and then there'd be the new banner, and there'd be some sort of like some sort of fun event, whether it be at that specific location or some sort of like maybe we do the passport thing around that. But it'd be something that would be a celebration of the new launch of the Duke District banners. But there's been no date set for that yet.
Did that give you the clarity that you needed, Nicholas?
It did. Thank you.
Certainly.
I agree. I think what Karen just mentioned a few minutes ago, doing kind of a timeline with some targeted tasks makes a lot of sense because it'll give us a better idea in terms of what we actually have to do. A lot of these things, you know, are going to be a lot of legwork first time that we do it. Once we get that out, why don't I share that with the committee in 2 weeks' time? Let me just mark my calendar here. I'll get it out by like early November, and then that way everyone can take a look at it and put some comments to it, saying like, "Hey, this looks aggressive. or this looks doable, or hey, I would, give your personal thoughts. Like I would prioritize this over this. This can be stretched out a little bit. And that way we're not killing ourselves. That is my big worry is that we could make this all full time jobs on all the 100% of the committee's end and still have more stuff to do. So I just want to be cognizant that we're not overstretching ourselves too quickly here. I love the idea of creating a timeline, kind of an associated task list with it, and then from there, I think we can have a more honest conversation about hey, what's doable and what's not, or what's a high priority and what can wait.
Yeah, because it's important to break it down because one, you don't want to overwhelm any of our beautiful volunteers who have committed their time for the meeting as well as for the activities. And then also you want to have some success with it. And so I think that it's important that one, we have like I think Zavi has the lead on the farmers market, but it may be something that we all can do to help pitch in. Even the banners, we may be something that we can all pitch in. The drummer circle, et cetera, et cetera. Everything I think that we may can contribute to one task item within that big um, picture item, so that it can get done. But I think if you break it down, it will be really, really helpful to the committee, and then you can have some success with making sure that the community engagement actually occurs.
Agreed. I mean, we could be doing all this. I think that's very well said, Karen. We could be doing all this, working our butts off, launching it, and then, it's not really a community event. So I think we have to keep the intent of the engagement front and center so that whatever we do, we're successful at it. And also, more importantly, it's something for the community. So I think that was very well said. Yeah, let me take some time. I know we have a lot of ideas out there. Let me take some time over the next 2 weeks. I'll map it out in terms of just like some sort of kind of loose timeline and task list. And then that way we'll know pretty quickly where um, I don't want to call them choke points because that's not the right thing, but we'll know pretty quickly where there's a lot of to dos and little time, and then we can kind of reassess and say, hey, let's actually realistically push this off a little bit, or hey, we'll pull this off a little bit, or we'll have a better sense of everything. But I love that idea of creating that, so it's a little bit more of a visual aid that we can all work against, and then obviously things will move a little bit, but it'll give us at least a framework to push forward. Um, but I have quite a few action items on my end. I'm going to just follow up with everyone individually or teams individually this week or next. But there's a few things that I just need to get with Miguel and Karen over at ANC about because they're going to dictate a few of the things that we can do or can't do. And then Zabi, I'll send you some times on the farmers market too, so that hopefully we can sit down, even if it's for 15 minutes, and she gives us two other vendors that possibly do this. I think it'd be worth our time doing.
Great, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Zabi put in a lot of legwork into. I wish the fresh farm worked out, but I mean it's a learning experience, and then yeah, we'll use all that good work for the next approach that we do here in the coming weeks. Okay, well, everyone, does anyone else have anything else that they'd like to add?
I can tell you in regard the 3D CAC meeting is going to be held via Zoom on Thursday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. It's going to be via Zoom. You can go to www.3dcac.org and register to get your Zoom link. It's really important because we're interested in seeing how we can do not only public safety engagement but community engagement um, across the third district, which is more than just ANC 1B, but it's important that everyone knows how to engage with the police department as a community. So I really want everyone on this committee to be involved. This used to be the Public Safety and Community Engagement Committee, but it was split. But I certainly want to make sure that you all are always involved. And it's a nonprofit, so it's a business. So we're always here in the community for over 44 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there.
And no, thank you. Uh, and then anyone else have any other last items? And we'll go ahead and adjourn here. Thank you, everyone, for tonight. This was good for me. I know it was a little bit of a choppy meeting at times, but I think at the end of the day, talking through some of this stuff, getting it fleshed out a little bit, and then also coming away with the idea of getting the task list and the targeted timelines is going to be really critical for this, because I looked at this list and I would love to do everything right now, but yeah, we could easily overwhelm everyone very quickly. So I think having a more sensible approach to things makes a lot of sense. I want to thank everyone, and then I'll be sending out emails in the next couple of days or so.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody.